Welcome to part two. We're just waiting for Adam to join us, all the way from over in San Francisco. Did he say, or did he say he's waiting to go to Ireland, back to Ireland or something? Here he is, Adam from San Francisco or Ireland. Women love him, men want to be him.
Oi, oi, pal. How are we?
Oh yeah,
Good, sir. Good. Flying.
good man, good man. So they did well then, Sky. Then with that, so Johnny Horsecock and the rest of the gang, Anna Woolhouse, they'll all be over at home, won't they? Natasha Jonas, they all did well, didn't they?
They did very well. Actually, yeah. To come on to that, a couple of honorary shout outs. I love Tasha Jonas on comms. I don't think she overcooks it. Um, and yeah, I just like her. I think she's a good character. She's definitely good on set, all that. And from the talk sport perspective, man, obviously, a certain Mr. Bean Adam Smith was back in action. Um, you know, Originally when that whole fallout came, with Boxer, with Adam Smith, and even to this day, there's something missing that we didn't see. There's some missing piece of information because something still stinks. We didn't get the proper farewell and all the rest. Um, so when it first came out, there was kind of question marks about what was real and the him being sick and all the rest. But it's obvious now that the guy kind of he fought a hard battle from a medical standpoint, and he got through it, and he's back on his feet. So man, fair play to him. For all the pelters we can throw at times, he's given us some brilliant moments of commentary, and I still enjoy listening to him. Like he kind of reminds me of you know, maybe it's nostalgia, but he reminds me of the old days, kind of like you know, I wouldn't say he's an OG of British boxing, but like, for like some of the younger fans, or like, for me in my 30s or whatever, he was there for a lot of the big years and a lot of the big moments. So I'm kind of happy, man, to see him kind of get back on his feet gradually. So yeah, fair play to the whole crew.
Yeah, some very good points you raised there, Adam. Do you agree?
With with what exactly, Paul?
I'm just pulling your leg, mate. Right, moving on from that then. Did I call it or did I call it? If Matthew Hatton gets beat, uh, if Campbell Hatton gets beat hands of phone, Matthew will be gone within a week. Did I call it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Well, I just had to get my crystal ball out because I can predict things, as you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's a tough one, man, just because you see this a lot, family and business and stuff. It's a hard nut to crack, and it's a hard thing to get right. And obviously, boxing, combat sports, that's not a normal profession. I listened to him this morning, Hatton, Matthew Hatton. He was on, I don't know which channel, he was on one of the channels, but very respectful. Obviously, look, it's his nephew at the end of the day. But he seems to have taken it very well, whatever way they came to it. And he said that him and Campbell, they said from the word go, he said, you're my nephew, we'll never fall out over boxing. So he seems to be taking it as well as possible. I don't know, mate. Like, it's not, I'll never cheer when somebody loses their job unless they're, an out and out scumbag. That doesn't seem to be the case with Matt Hatton. So, um, I think Campbell there's plenty of stuff he needs to work on as a boxer.
Yeah,
Starting with his defense.
yeah.
And I don't know if it's a case of, when things get greasy inside the ring and it's time to throw down, maybe like, sometimes training goes out the window and he just throws caution to the wind. But his defensive skills in that last fight were extremely poor, in my opinion. So, um, yeah, maybe it's just the right timing. That's kind of what Matthew said too. He's like, look, maybe it's time for him to move on. We've kind of been together for 7 years, whatever it's been. So yeah, mate. Just the merry-go-round keeps on going, but good luck to them both.
Yeah. Yeah, it's do you see Matthew Hatton's nephew, Campbell Hatton, aka Hands of Foam? Do you see him winning a belt at any level?
Uh full-blown world title, no sir. European at a push, maybe. Because he's always going to be matched well because of his last name. Or not even matched well, but he's always going to be, some sort of attraction. With even from name value alone. If he look, if he can shore up some of those holes in his defense, then it's possible. But he doesn't hit that hard either, man. Like he doesn't have obviously by your nickname for him, Hands of Foam. He doesn't bang that hard either. So I would just find it hard to see him penetrating at world level, based on what we've seen so far. So I would say probably British Commonwealth, maybe European at a push if he's matched right. That's how far I see him going.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so.
Hmm. What about him rematching that guy who he's just lost? Do you think that'll happen?
I, I don't. If I was his promoter, I wouldn't go for it at all, man. Because I think if you lose at ABA level twice, like we talked about last week, it's not saying you're finished, but it would be a bit like the David Price Thompson moment. You know what I mean? Where you lose back to back to the same guy, albeit at different levels, and it just kind of stagnates your career. So yeah, if I was Hills, I would obviously he's going to get a new coach in. And I would probably try and steer clear of Flint. Um, look, unless he really, really fancies it, unless a new coach comes in and they see something that they, he thinks that they didn't catch in the last fight, unless they have a very, very good reason to take it on again. If I were his promoter, I wouldn't, because if you lose twice, you're in no man's land. You know, too big a risk, in my opinion.
Yeah, if it ends up like Big Truck against Tony Thompson,
You're
you know what
just
I mean?
it's always going to be that moment people come back to where it's like, oh well, well he lost twice to Flint, you know what I mean? So I would, yeah, especially with the fact now they're kind of starting from scratch. They're going to get a new coach, new team. They're going to regroup. So yeah, if I were Hills, look, I'll be amazed if we see that rematch, soon or at all, because if Hatton does kind of move up the levels. Again, you're likely as a promoter, you're not going to come down a couple of levels to take on a potential banana peel. So I'd say look, try and avoid Flint.
You reckon, yeah?
I think so, Paul. Well, would you not if you were Hills in the same position?
I don't know, it's a tough one, isn't it?
It is.
What Eddie's gonna go at Dowies, isn't it? In
Yeah.
it. Where do you think the dough is?
Uh I don't I don't know, Paul. Not 100% sure. I mean, it's no disrespect to ABA level. It's an unbelievable level to win. But if we're talking about a pro level with the last name Hatton, with respect, I don't think it's ABA level. I'm not really fully sure where he goes from here. Um, look, I'm not saying he retires. I know he's going to keep fighting. I just don't see a clear path for financial success. Um, I would say, look, let's see who he settles down with as a trainer, or let's see who the next coach is, and maybe let's revisit it in a couple of months. Um, but yeah, right now, I don't know. I don't really see a clear path for him based on multiple factors, Paul.
Oh yeah.
Not really. I mean, like I say, he's got work to do in training. I think he doesn't have that power where he can stop boys. If he's in trouble in a fight. So yeah, I would say let them go back to the drawing board. Pardon me. And just sort out how they want to move forward. Put it this way, Hills will have learned a hell of a lot from the whole Conor Benn situation about what can happen and what shouldn't happen and who, this and that. So, um, yeah, I'd say Hills will probably make a better go of Hatton than he will have had done with how he handled the whole Benn thing. So I'd say we'll know more, man, in probably 4 to 6 months, something like that.
You reckon?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
you what?
I was just going to say it takes time, new coaches takes time for them to bed in and new ideas and is it a fit straight off the bat? So yeah, mate, we'll see how it goes. But look, he went in there last time, he laid it all out, um, and he showed us something that we didn't know. So fair play to him. I would like to see him get back on the horse and keep moving forward.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it?
Mm,
Moving on to Crusher Ben. What has happened?
Radio nowhere, man. Radio nowhere. He is stuck in purgatory, boxing purgatory, in my opinion. And I don't know if he ever gets out. Um, because look, the PED stuff that's going to stay with him forever. Doesn't matter. So that's stuck now. That's like glue. You're not taking that off. Um, but now it's losing this appeal, which again, I'm so happy for. Like, I think it's a tiny victory for the sport, but I think it's great. Like, even if Ben is out in a British ring by the end of the year, I know that's kind of a paradox, but they'll probably figure out a deal time served or something. But can you imagine the smugness out of Hills if they had won that appeal, or if the board hadn't won the appeal? Because like a year ago, after the WBC cleared him or whatever, or no, sorry, it wasn't even the WBC. After he got cleared by the board or by the appeals board, Hearn was hitting his chest saying it's a great moment for Conor Benn. This is closure to the whole thing. And now that closure's gone. Um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know kind of where he goes from here. I don't see him winning the world title. I don't see him ever clearing his name. Uh, I don't see him ever winning back more than 20% of the fan base that he lost with how he's handled himself. So, yeah, mate, I think he's in a really, really, really bad spot, and I don't see any way that he gets himself out of it. What do you think, man?
I think Eddie don't want him, me now.
No, no,
I
that's
think
what I
he's
mean.
become a hindrance to him now. If you can't get him out there in Saudi, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I'm saying. Like he's homeless on multiple levels. Like I know he's still backed by Matchroom, but I agree with you in the sense that I think Eddie's realized that, for multiple reasons, the public's turned on him. This has happened. That's happened. I think fundamentally they look at it and they're like, "This, no offense, but this lad isn't really that good. He was never that good to begin with." Um, so yeah, Paul. I don't know how they cash him out, but I think the band dream is over. Uh, Well, sorry. It's over. It'll never get back to the heights where it was. You like that buzz before Eubank and him were supposed to fight. Like I don't think we ever get back there because I don't think the fans wanted to get back there. I think he's burned multiple bridges. It's a cautionary tale, man. It's a cautionary tale for fighters coming through about how you should and shouldn't handle yourself. I know it's a unique situation for him because of who his dad was and this and that, but he's paved the way of how not to handle a bad situation. So yeah, I think he's borderline finished, Paul, at that level.
yeah,
Mm,
it's going to be tough times ahead for him with another kid. He's just had another kid. I see that Rolls Royce getting traded in for a diesel Mondeo. What do you think, Adam?
Man, firstly, congratulations to him and his missus and the child. Sincerely, it's always a beautiful thing. With that being said, I would have to agree with you on the Mondeo, pal. Jesus, there'll be no Rolls Royces. I mean, I'll be honest. Even at the height of his, even before when he was supposed to fight Eubank, if that's the highest he ever gets, even at that, I mean, he'd never won anything. Why are you trimming about in a Rolls Royce? Like, what are you thinking? Um, just way over the top, pal. Way. Whether you're in the cars or you're not, it's like, you haven't won a British belt. You're kind of contradicting yourself because, like, you would watch these videos that Matchroom would produce, and they would talk about this Conor Benn lad. He's a chip off the old block. He's in the gym 12 hours a day. He's up doing 4 a.m. runs. He's doing this. He's printing him out to be this, Rocky Balboa-esque character. And then on the other side of the coin, he's tipping about doing talk sport interviews on his Rolls Royce. Um, Very unclear message, pal, to send to the fans. So I think he would do himself the world of good trading that yacht in for for a space wagon, they call them over here. If you have kids, the big yokes with the sliding doors for dropping them off at soccer practice. I think he should probably get one of them sussed out ASAP.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see the Eubank fight coming off?
Uh, if it can happen, yes. I mean, outside of the Pacquiao Saudi potential fight, if you're Hills, you're looking at two fights. You're looking at Eubank in the UK, and then you're looking at Pac-Man in Saudi. And you can talk about Crawford and Haney and all these guys, but like for a 99.9 times out of 100, if you put Ben in with Tank, Haney, Crawford, Ennis, he's getting hung out to dry. You know what I'm saying? So the only two fights where he doesn't lose all of his shine are Eubank and Pac-Man. So put it like this: if they can make the Eubank fight, they will make it, and they'll make it in the UK. Um,
What
so
do you
yeah,
think?
pal.
What do you think to Beefy now? He's disappeared, hasn't he?
Yeah. Um, Hard to see, man. This whole scandal, it's kind of you see it now as time moves by. It's kind of derailed multiple careers because you've had Beefy on the shelf as well. I know he said he had a few injuries before his last fight, and that's why he was flat and all the rest. But obviously, everything's had time to heal now. I don't know, man, where he goes. Honestly, I mean, I think look, the Eubank 3 was the obvious fight for him. But if Ben Eubank happens, then obviously that doesn't happen, and then you open up Ben Eubank as a potential for a rematch if it's a close fight. Um, I don't know, mate. Does Beefy go kind of back down to I'm not saying back down, but I'm saying does he kind of go dip his toes back in at domestic level? Like similar to when he fought Anthony Fowler a couple of years ago. Does he kind of try and go down? I don't mean to be disrespectful. I just mean like does he go back to a fight like that? I don't know. Does he want to do that? I mean, he's not young. I don't know what age he is, but I know he's what, mid late 30s. So I don't know, man. It's murky waters for Beefy as well. I'm not really sure where he goes or where he wants to go. So
Yeah.
we'll
What's going to
see.
happen with his brother, son of Buddy? You know what I mean? Jim Royal. What's happening with him? I thought he were going to be next big noise with managing.
We have SOG, Andre Ward, the son of God, and then we have SOB,
I know.
Callum Smith, son of Buddy.
Oh,
Ah,
no, it's Paul Smith, son of Buddy,
oh, Paul Smith. Sorry. Funny
aka
all the
Jim
same.
Royal.
Oh, right. Sorry. I got you now. Uh, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's look, there'll always be a certain level of rumble around the family because look, there's multiple lads. There's a couple of them still active. Obviously, you don't see kind of a family. this deep in boxing that often, where there's like, multiple, even regardless of what you think of each person's level and all the rest, there's still multiple guys in there. So I don't know, Paul. I think we're very close to the end of like if you ever want to call it like the Smith kind of the Smith family involvement. Like they'll probably be coaching the management in there after the fact. But like we just talked about, where does Beefy go? I know there's a couple of fights on the table for Mundo. Yar, Boatsi, fights like that. If he wants them. And then that's the end. That's the dinner bell finished. Um, I mean, Mundo doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to stay in boxing after he's done. I'd say he'll be well clear of the sport.
It looks
Um,
here.
I think so. I mean, he doesn't strike me as like he does very little media, and I'm not taking him out saying this, but he seems like quite a private dude. He does very little media. Um, I could be completely wrong. He just doesn't strike me as somebody that's like, like if outside of fighting that lives, breathes, and boxing. So I don't know, mate. He doesn't strike me with his demeanor as like that he's going to want to go straight into coaching or anything like that. And look, obviously, out of the brothers, he's done the best financially, probably by a mile. Uh, has Callum Smith. So yeah, I kind of see him very relaxed after he's finished fighting, man. Um, I'd be surprised if we saw him as like a trainer or something like that. And I don't think so. I think he just kind of puts his feet up and takes it easy.
Callum Smith's Brewster, though, isn't it? Isn't it, Callum Smith?
What do you mean by that?
Brewster's millions. He's got millions, hasn't he?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's rich as he ever needs to be. So that's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't need to stay in the sport, um, as maybe some of the other boys do. Um, so yeah, I don't know if I mean, does he wait? Does he fight? Has there been any movement on Yard Boatsi or any fight materializing with Callum Smith or either guy? I know we talked about this before, but is anything closer? Do you know?
Not heard, no. I don't think Callum Smith will fight again myself.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting to. Like, if I think if they announce Boachi and Yard, I don't know if Smith waits for the winner. So I think like he either fights in maybe the next 6 months or he retires. Um, because otherwise he's just gonna have to stay ticking over. And like we talked about, he's got loads of money in the bank. He took a serious hiding from Beterbiev as well. And do you want to stay ticking over for a year? I don't know, man. So I think if Smith doesn't have a fight announced in the next, let's say, 3 or 4 months, I think he retires.
There.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nothing left to prove. Like I don't think he gets back near a world title fight. Um, yeah, he's nothing to prove at domestic level, obviously. I think uh I think Anthony Yard's a tough night's work for anybody, even if you beat him. You know what I mean? Like he comes to bang. I think Boachi might be a nicer matchup, but I don't know if Callum Smith definitely beats Boachi either. So yeah, man, I think potentially retirement is on the horizon.
There.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's you know what? I don't even feel glasses are full with Callum Smith. It's like somebody just handed him, world title and Ring Magazine belt, British, European, Commonwealth. Give him all that. And
yeah,
he's left us nothing, has he? As like memories, has he? Or oh, has he really? What has he? He's famous for what? Canelo and Viterbia tonking him. That's
yeah,
basically it, really, isn't it? Because nobody's giving him the Groves win because he were a one-armed bandit, wasn't he?
yeah. Correct, correct. And no, I would agree with you. And again, like I don't think. Look, whatever your personality is, that's fine. I'm not going to dig a guy out because he's not in front of the camera the whole time. It's we dig lads out for the opposite, the likes of Spencer Fearon and these guys that just want to be in GAD, that want to be in front of the camera 24/7. But he's he's never offered that much from like a personality perspective too. Like, you know what I mean? Like even the likes of like a Chris Eubank Jr., regardless of what you think about him in the ring, and even if you dislike his antics, you're still going to get entertainment out of him. I don't think Callum Smith has ever been that entertaining, and I don't think he's kind of he's tried to put himself out there that much. Um, and today in the social media era, I think you kind of have to do that, man, if you want to keep people on side, or at least do it a little bit more than he has. So I don't think he's kind of forged a brilliant relationship with the fans outside of Liverpool either. And yeah, and his biggest moments, man, he came up very short. I didn't think I fancy. Look, I didn't fancy him. I didn't have him to beat Canelo, but I thought at super middle that was going to be Canelo's toughest fight to unify all the belts. Um, and you could argue it was maybe his easiest fight. From the first bell, he just pieced him up. Um, I know he didn't stop him, but even still. Uh, so yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's look, Callum Smith. He's done amazingly financially. He's won multiple belts. Um, so you have to give him props there. But I don't think he will. I don't think he'll be cemented in people's memory for
People don't
decades
rush
to come.
out, do they, to watch a Callum Smith fight, do they?
No, no.
When you hear about Ring Magazine greats or people who've even won that belt, I don't hear his name mentioned and he's got a Ring Magazine belt. It's like he's got it off eBay.
Maybe so.
Well, it is, isn't it? Oh, WBO sorted it with him with an email like they do everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. No, look, it doesn't have the same. It definitely doesn't have the same shine than other people that have held that belt. Definitely not. No, I'm with you, man. Like yeah, I don't think. Look, his career kind of reminds me of Billy Joe's a wee bit, but for different reasons. Um, like I think Billy Joe didn't get as far as he. I think Billy Joe was much more talented than Callum Smith ever was, but I think Billy Joe didn't hit the heights because he didn't put in the graft. Um, you know, Callum Smith, yeah, I don't know, mate. It's like you say, it's not to dig him out too much, but I don't think he'll be remembered half as clearly as some fighters that haven't achieved half as much as he had. So that's never a good thing, really, is it?
No, not really. But Callum Smith's got no legacy, has he?
Not as much as he's. Yeah, I mean, if you look at his resume, or if you heard his resume explained in one sentence, you'd be like, all right, that fella obviously
Yeah,
did
if you
very
look at the
well.
belts, yeah, but then once you go actually look at the resume, it's a Bellew job, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not great. It's
No, it's
not
a
great.
Bellew job, innit? That's all it were. He got Groves when he were injured. Bellew got aid, didn't he, when he were done. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's one of them jobs, isn't it? It's just the facts of life, isn't it?
yeah. But then the promoters don't help too, and I know it's their job, but when the promoters are bigging you up and this lad's he's gonna change the way people look at super middleweights, and then this guy he's gonna beat better Biev and stuff. And I know it's their job, but when you're setting kind of these false expectations and then guys fall short, the public kind of feel that they've been shafted a wee bit. Um, so no, not a great legacy, mate. But look, listen, I'm sure he can cry himself to sleep with all that money. You know what I mean? And a couple of belts on his wall. So whatever, fair play to him.
Yeah, yeah, fair play to him. Uh, Terry Harper, what did you think?
Did she announce anything since last week? No,
Oh, there's a whisper doing the rounds that she might be going to Grant Smith.
really?
I feel that's the whisper doing the rounds. Obviously, it was me that broke the Joe G a colon news, wasn't it?
It was.
But obviously that's not confirmed yet. But that's a little whisper that somebody's told me. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens in it moving forwards.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, she has two options. Option one is or was retire, and option two was make a change of camp, because it looked like under Bull she had one way to win a fight. It had to go absolutely perfect for her for the entirety of the fight. Get in and out, take zero damage or zero big power punches to throw her off her game plan. And that's the only way she could win. At that top level, that stuff doesn't fly. So, like I said, retire or change camps. Um, so if look, she's going to change camps and get back into it, fair play to her. Wish her all the best. You know it from her body language inside the ring before and after, or before, during, and after the fight. She struck me as somebody that had 1 foot out the door. But if she really wants to come back, man, and graft at it, then again, fair play to her. But yeah, definitely needs to make a change if she's going to stay in the sport, in my opinion.
Yeah, with that style she's got, she's gonna have to start throw some leather, isn't she? Learn
Yeah,
how to defend herself a bit better, isn't she? You can't just hold your arms out and hope to grab them, can you? It don't work like that, does it?
no, no. I mean, she's basically looking for a fencing match, or she was, where, like I
Well,
said,
that's
things
what
have.
she's been matched like, you see.
Yeah,
But now they
yeah,
want to get some money off her. She's gonna start fighting people. That's the problem she's gonna have.
yeah. And I mean, look, it's yeah, we see this, the gyms. I'm not going to say they rise and fall, but like, you've seen this with trainers over the last couple of years. They have wee hot periods and stuff. Um, but you look at, Steel City, that gym. I mean, there's never been a better time than now. Obviously with Dalton coming through, and the multiple fighters they had out there last week on the matchroom card. Um, good things are happening there. There's a good energy about that gym. Um, so yeah, man, seems like a good time. If you look at kind of Dalton Smith's style, the way he kind of waited Zabela out early, not waited him out, but just kind of, took his time and then kind of struck. I think Harper could learn a wee bit from that. Patience, distance control, and just staying a wee bit calmer in there, where it's like, all right, you take a shot, but it's not going to end the fight. So no, be a good move for her, absolutely. Um, all right, just speaking about trainers, actually, I wanted to bring this up before I know we've only got 8 minutes left, but how the mighty have fallen. What about Derrick James, man? Yeah, it's all falling apart out in Texas, isn't it?
Yeah, what's that? What do you reckon?
Uh, I don't know. I've not, I saw him being interviewed years ago, man. I didn't actually know who he was. And I didn't recognize his face. I was like, who's this guy? Came across as an awful prick, if I'm being honest. And then I looked, I was like, Derrick James, he was a pro fighter, trains Errol Spence or whatever. I don't know, man. Like, it's just, this is what I'm saying. You see this where trainers go through like hot phases for a small amount of time. Obviously there's some that don't. Like, there's the likes of Joe G that have just been consistent, year after year after year after year. Um, the rumbles from within, apparently, he said the only fight that he wanted Errol Spence to take was the Crawford rematch. So the rumors are that Spence didn't want it at all. Derrick James said it's the only fight that I want you to take, and that's why they've gone their separate ways. Um, I have no idea what happened with him and AJ. It seems pretty amicable. Maybe it was just, Ben Davison was on his doorstep. It was a good fit or whatever. But then what's he left with now? He's got Frank Martin and he's got Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia for me will be a retired fighter within 2 years, three max. Uh Frank Martin's a good fighter, but he's fighting Tank next. He'll do well to ever, kind of not rob the belts, but he'll do well to get the belts off the likes of Tank and then up at 140 as well. So yeah, man, it's going in a bad direction for Derrick James very, very quickly. Um, so who knows? Who knows, Paul, where he goes from here? But look, I'm sure he'll pick up fighters and stuff. I'm not saying he's finished, but it's a far cry from the fellow who was calling Bo Mack a fatso, 18 months ago or 15 months ago or whatever it was. So what
Yeah.
goes up must come down. It's changed quickly for him.
Let's finish off on this one. Women's boxing, right? I've got a theory here and I'm going to share it with you, Adam. Do you think soon we're going to have an undisputed or a main dog in all divisions, and that's what it'll just be like? Because there ain't enough talented ones in each division. Because we've already had it in Savannahs, haven't we, in 2 divisions? There's nowhere for it to go, is there? And do you think we're going to have that in other divisions where they're going to just outgrow it and it'll just be a waste of time defending belts?
Uh, Potentially. I mean, I think the I think the ace in the hole of that, and I don't know, I don't really know at all about this, but like, I mean, maybe you know, man, from the inside out. Like, is there a good, like, I know female boxing has obviously grown and it grows every year, but like from like an amateur level, you know, like so Terry and all this, like, I mean, are there plenty of girls coming through? Like, I don't know. I'm asking you that question. Um, because the pool as it stands is way too shallow of female fighters or good ones that you can put on cards with respect, on big cards. If there's not a new fresh hot stable coming out of the UK, um, then yeah, man, the current structure is going to fizzle out. Because you know you've seen this already, where it's like, you know, double, like, undisputed at multiple belts at, you know, multiple weights at multiple times.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's kind of like a house of cards where like once a
Well, look
couple
at
of them,
Terry Harper's situation. She's been fighting, was it feather, super feather, lightweight, light welter, super welter? I mean, what weight is she?
yeah, yeah, no, that,
I
yeah,
was now, I was now seeing what these managers and promoters are. They're just pimps, aren't they? Because if it was anybody else as a male going from Terry Harper's weight division, jumping all that way up, it should have been on news. It'd have been on news at 10 for a male, wouldn't it?
yeah, it would have been like, I know the only argument to that I would
They're
make.
inventing belts for them, aren't they? Though, come on, it's unreal.
Oh, they are. Look, it's money's ruining a shallow pool because, like you say, there's not enough big fights that can be made. So they're just throwing people up weights, throwing them down
Savannah
weights.
fights, right, at heavyweight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's a world champion at middleweight. Nothing, it's just so they can, well, you'll beat her anyway. She's only a fat slob dinner lady, 15 stone job. But this is where we're at with it. It's not, I think it's been found out, unless you've got your Natasha Jonases, your Taylors,
Yeah.
your Terry Harpers, and Chantel Camerons, all them lot, Lauren Prices, unless you've got all them lot, Caroline DeBar, your cream. The rest just rhubarb.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying about the House of Cards, man. When you pull out, you know, like you said, the Jonas, the Taylors, the Serranos, you know, even the Baumgartners and the Michaela Mayers to like a lower extent. You pull those fighters out, and the House of Cards falls apart. Um, so yeah, mate. I mean, look, again, it's all dependent on what we have coming through. Look, there's some really good younger fighters too, like the likes of Caroline Dubois and stuff. But you know, you can't put female boxing on, you know, a couple of girls' shoulders. Um, the jumping around weights is ridiculous. Like, I know it's different for the female game because, like, you know, obviously there's different factors and body fat and all this here. But this jumping 3, 4 weight divisions in the space of 3 fights, it's not good. And it's cash out after cash out. So yeah, I think there'll be a severe depression in female boxing, or the a severe drop off, like the Great Depression back in the day, when that this crop retires, and it's all about what we're bringing through next. And if we do have a next wave, they have to be handled a bit better. Like, you get a girl to 147, she fights 10 fights at 147, she then moves to 154. There's none of this up down zigzag yo yo.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
no good,
And don't they
Paul.
learn anything from when men do it and get hurt?
Uh I mean, I think the argument they always bring back is it's 2 minute rounds and women don't hit as hard. Like, I'm not being sexist. I'm just saying, like, it's a fact. Um,
Well, we're out of time anyway, but listen, thanks for coming on.
Top man, always, bud,
Then,
always a pleasure.
end of the day, women's boxing, majority of it's pony. So, all right, mate, go on, peace out.
Top
Cheers.
man, I'll talk to you when I'm in Ireland. Cheers, Russ. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Bye. Oh, he were in San Francisco then, where he's on his way to Ireland. Okie dokie, thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Booyaka! Peace out.